Tonight's menu for me, I'll be making chicken. Little bitty tiny pieces of chicken. I'm going to saute up and putting with some Caesar salad. For lunch today, I did a snack thing with carrots and some celery with peanut butter. We are what we fuel, and we are what we put into our bodies. If you're feeling weighed down and heavy and a lot of it and feeling sluggish, could be what you're eating, love. Okay? There are ways you can do things on a budget. Find deals, okay? I got some deals on my salad and stuff. And there's, things, making sure you're drinking water, okay? Get that water in you. Not filling it with all those fillers too and the sugary things, okay? Because then you're not drinking water. And tea over soda, all right? The caramel colors and all those things, the bloating, the gases, all that leads to different things, okay? So start being more conscious. We all need to be on our health, okay? I know I've brought up these dyes and these red things and stuff that goes in there, and there's some states that are starting to kick in and wanting to get rid of those things that are bad for us, okay? We all are chemical makeup. And that chemical makeup is not only made of our DNA and how we were brought into this world, into this vessel, our soul of this body that is eternal, because our soul is eternal, the body is not, okay? So when you go into that next chapter of your life, into the eternal, okay, it's a little different. But what we're here right now in reality of this time and this life, our chemical makeup has a lot to do with what we're eating. And that leads to a lot of how we're feeling and our thoughts, okay? And the way we're able to move, which leads to our actions, okay? So you want movement, love, and you want to get further in life. Do little changes, okay? You can do it. I believe in you. You've got this. Okay? All right? Peace, love. And what are you having for dinner tonight? I hope you're having dinner, because not everybody's lucky to have supper. Okay? That's one thing I always instilled in my kids, because I'm going to bring in this little bit of a lesson in here too for you guys. I feel like I just need to share this story, okay? Ever since my kids were little, there was a few times, how kids can get. They might want to get that little notion in them, like this, and that, right? Of wanting and wanting. But I always told them, you are blessed. You have clothes on you. You have play shoes. You have school shoes. And you have gym shoes. And you have dress shoes. Look at that. And you have rain boots at that. So how many different pairs of shoes do you have? Do you know there's a kid that's walking in a landfill who doesn't have any shoes right now? Okay? And food and things. And I taught my boys when they were little to earn things like, okay, you want that guitar? How many points can you get on that chart of good things we can put in this jar and give you an L plus, okay, or an A plus, because I went by their names, okay? Or you get a minus, and we're going to take one of your things out of the jar, because once they had a certain number in the jar, they knew. Mom's yes was yes, and my no was no. And they won their guitar, and they won their keyboard. It was a little lesson I did for them, because there's always, and I want you guys to know this too, okay? What you might not have now, you can achieve and you can have. It's there. You've got it. Okay, you can build it. Okay, you can shine and make it stand, and you can change circumstances. Okay. And my heart has always been, the one. My heart right here has wept for all of those. And yes, You know, people are like, oh, God can just change, and why doesn't he just stop this? There's other things that are in play, okay? Other things taking place. Our free will, our conscience, our hearts, and where our minds lie. There's the ones out there that are just strictly for them and building their wealth. But are they truly blessing to anybody other than themselves and their little families? Okay? This is the time. This is the season. God is rewarding those, okay, that have stood the test of time, have stood firm with conviction, have stood through the hardships and the hard times, who have mourned, who have felt the pains of others and wished it was gone, through tears of love that they felt because they didn't want to see somebody else, especially I know that was me, suffering, okay? Yes, I was blessed to take my kids to Disney World, Tennessee, all these different places, see the Golden Arch and different things, and have fun through their years and their times. And then I sat and thought, even when I was a teenager, I wrote songs about war. Because I'm against war. And when it comes to governments, there's a lot of things I'm not privy of either, okay? Because there shouldn't be that great big divide, all right? There shouldn't be someone who says, I can't afford to go to this place, but this person gets to, and then it brings the trickling down of the feeling of the low. Yeah, I can go low, but I can go high. So there you go. So, do you want to be on the low of a pole? Or do you want to be on the high? Elevate yourselves, loves. Okay? Because it's coming. So you will feel loved. Okay? It's coming. I know it. All right? So, yeah, with my poetries and stuff, you know, I would sit and think about those kids over that I'm seeing on the news, you know, the narratives of the news, scare tactics and things I put in place for you as well. Because the world is a stage of loves. I can't tell you enough. You get to choose your movie script, okay? You get to make it. You get to write it, okay? Your tomorrows and your happily ever afters if that's what you want, all right? And I would think these kids playing on a playground, and then all of a sudden they hear the sirens wailing, and they gotta run and take cover in a bomb shelter. Okay? That broke my heart. Knowing that kids in America could sit here and play soccer and play baseball and all these things, because I used to go to my brother's baseball games and watch them and cheer them on, okay? And sitting in the bleachers hearing people say, hey, bada, 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 swing, bada, 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 to try to get the other team to go. And then other parents saying, don't do that, you know, and the bickering, blah, 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 you know, and things. And I knew what it was like to have the freedom to go to the park, go on the swings. I still to this day love to go to the park, go on the swings, put me on a merry-go-round. You know, I love it. And one of these days I would love to just be able to fly like on a tree. You know, trapeze, but yeah. So, yeah, take that, okay? All the things that we have had here, all right? And that others don't have. And know that you are blessed, okay? And your come around is coming, all right? I feel that energy. It's coming, okay? So look at the bright side. Look at the light bulb, okay? Of knowing, okay? And the grass sometimes is always greener on the other side. Not always, okay? And there's so many videos I see people trying to show of humanity and trying to feed, okay, these poor babies. Like I seen one of this young little girl, and this guy's talking to her about food, and she's telling him expressingly, that her mom didn't wake her up for breakfast. Okay? Maybe that mom knew she only had food for one meal, so she let that little child sleep through breakfast, okay? But she told him she didn't like to eat noodles. And that touched my heart. And if I could have an orphanage of kids, I always said, if I got to a certain point in my life, I would adopt a couple. Because no child should be driven between war and sleeping in a tent and having a mother that can't wake them up for breakfast because they can't feed them, and waiting on help to arrive with, here's your pre-made meal. Okay? It's time we get together and we stop writing on these wars and these governments and what they're predicting, and we have that one love for one another, and let's make it happen. So one love for one another, and let's make it happen, because no human being, especially a child, should wonder if they're going to have a pair of shoes or something in their belly, or if their tent's going to be torn in two. All right, guys? So yeah, what started out to be a talk about what you going to have for dinner turned in a little more deeper. Love ya. Okay? Always love ya.